Hi, I'm Fred Cohen, and this is an overview of our Access to Capital program. It's a five-step program that helps get companies ready to be able to get capital investment. The first step is called Go to Angel. In Go to Angel, you apply to present, pay the fees to present, record your presentation in a session with one of our personnel. Then you go live online remote. You play the presentation. There's a Q&A with the angels and advisors, and then after all the companies present, they get to ask the questions of the angels. We do metrics, both from your recordings beforehand and live online. So the angel advisors that are on the call give you metrics and recommendations. The metrics are on about 24 different factors that investors use to make investment decisions, and then we have follow-ups to help walk you through the rest of the process. Step two is investor prep. This is preparing for investors. It uses proprietary step-by-step videos, proprietary tools, proprietary content, and then live online remote one-on-one mentoring with your mentor. You also get invitation to exclusive events as part of the process. The purpose of this is to help build the answers to investor questions so you're ready for those investors. You're preparing for the investors' process from their point of view, not just from your standpoint as a business, and creating the things you're going to need to prove to investors both that you're ready and to provide them the facts they need to make better investment decisions. Third phase is advice and assistance. So we have ongoing assistance and access to tools and access to the content, support by one or more mentors. You can have a whole advisory board if that's the appropriate thing to meet your needs, or you can go from advisor to advisor, getting information on particular things that you need at any given time. We also have a variety of other programs similar to the investor preparation program for different special facets. This helps you avoid making mistakes that others have made. It gives you independent opinions and expertise, so you get somebody else looking at what you're doing from the outside. And of course, we bring you connections and opportunities. The fourth step is internal diligence. Internal diligence is the same process that's used by investors, but it's done with the insider information from the advisors that you're working with. We check it for sensibility from the standpoint of an investor so that you can get an understanding of what the investor is going to see, what they're going to say, and adapt your business so that you can make sense to investors and so that your plan is more well prepared. You also produce a set of documents, and this is critical. You create a deal room and organize its contents according to the way the investor is going to want to see it. You have an executive summary you produce along with a tear sheet, a completed internal diligence report. Typically, these are 65 pages long, give or take a page or two. You get presentation material for the initial presentation, but also presentation materials for the follow-ons. Remember, investors don't just leap in one step. And of course, you need an investment instrument, the document that they're going to sign for the investment. And you need to practice and learn how to answer their questions. In the fifth step, of course, you're going to capital investment. That's where you get introductions to angels and angel groups, to other sources of capital, because it's not always an investment with equity that you want. There are other ways to get money to help you make progress in your business that don't give away equity. And of course, the potential strategic partners that are the paths towards exit. There are also, of course, opportunities to network, live online remote access, special networking events, and we have opportunities where you can engage with other startups and maybe help each other succeed. So we said that we're going to have some tips. So there are 3 tips. Here's the first tip. We want to make sure you look at it from their point of view. So, a high quality investor sees you as one of a whole bunch of opportunities they have. It could be a really good use of their time, but it could also be a waste of their time. And you don't want to waste their time any more than you want to waste your own. So what you want to make sure is that you're seeing the right investor at the right time. You're ready for them and they're ready for you. So you want to be able to make a match. You're building here, of course, is a long-term relationship, not a, give me the money and then we'll never see each other, because, you're going to be in business for quite some time as far as they're concerned, moving towards an exit. They're going to be involved. They're going to try to help you if they're a good investor. But also, even if they're just a passive investor, they're going to want to make sure their money is being properly and well spent. And of course, investors see this as a way to make money from the money they have. It's a way to put their capital to work. So you're building a relationship, and that's the key thing to understand. It's not just I'm trying to get you to give me your money. You're building a relationship, and you're going to be in this relationship. So you better find an investor and get along with that investor well. And of course, there are multiple investors involved as you progress through the business. So You really want to know them, get to know them, and expect to talk to them over a period of years. Tip 2, it's a sales process. Getting investors is like selling anything else, sort of. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game because maybe out of 100 investors, you might have 8, maybe 7 or 6 that are interested, and maybe 1 or 2 that are going to actually invest. So it's a numbers game, but it's also personal because you're trying to create these relationships. So you want to make sure you get good leads, and if you're not getting good leads, you're just wasting a lot of time. So getting good leads is a critical aspect of it, and then qualifying them quickly. It doesn't do you any good to keep them talking to you if they're not going to invest, and it doesn't do them any good to waste their time. They're just going to get mad at you and tell their friends that you're wasting their time. So you want to make sure it's a good fit. And the issue here is if it's just money, you're in trouble. Probably if it's only about money, you're getting towards, you're running out of money and you're getting desperate and you need it, and they'll smell that. And you can just smell fear in people. And when you start to ask questions, it turns out it's not quite true. So you want to make sure it's not just money, but rather it's a relationship you're building with somebody. Also, of course, they're probably the most likely people to give you more money later when you need it because they're protecting their own investment. The third tip, they have lots of choices. Okay, so the average angel investor, for example, invests about $25,000 a year, which is 1 investment per year. A larger scale, more professional investor might invest 3, 4, 5, or 10, and somebody working for a big venture firm might invest, tens per year, maybe even 100 per year. But they're only going to invest so much and only in so many. So the first step is to make sure you get on their little list. They have a little list, and you never will be missed. That's from an operetta. So you want to get on their list, but even on their list, they're not going to invest in them all. So it's not just getting on their list, it's once you're on their list, you want to get higher on the list because they rank and compare, and if they're going to invest in 3 or 4 or however many, if you're not in that top group, you're not going to be invested in. You just missed it, right? So the way you get on the list is you bake out the risk. So the idea here is that people are taking risks for rewards. If you're risk-free, probably you're too expensive for them to have a good investment, right? Why would you take all this money if there's no risk involved? You would just go build your business. By the time you have very little risk, you tend to be a public company, very strong and big and so forth. So the way you bake out the risk, of course, early on, it's all risk because, you don't have any answers to any questions. You don't really know what you're doing. You're just starting a business. So somewhere along the line, you get baked out to the risk level associated with that investors, and different investors work at different risk levels. So finding the time to get to the right investors when their risk profile matches your risk profile, that's one of the keys to making sure that you get to the right person at the right time. So bake out the risk to get higher on the list. I want to thank you and welcome you. I hope you have a chance to see our free videos, and let me know if you have any questions.